Hey guys, in this video I'll be handing out titles and awards for bodybuilders in 2024. The categories that I will be focusing on in this video are the most improved, the least improved, the most underrated, the most overhyped, the freakiest physique, the biggest surprise, the biggest disappointment, the worst physique, and lastly, of course, the best physique. I'm going to try my best to be very objective about the list and give concrete reasons as to why I handed a title to a given competitor. However, let me know in the comments if you disagree with any of my choices. If you guys are enjoying these videos, a like and sub would be awesome. And with that all being said, let's get into this video. Alright, starting off with the most improved bodybuilder of 2024, we have Martin Fitzwater. Martin really made waves in 2024 as he came in significantly improved from his last showings, which were in 2022. While his physique became better in every aspect, his personality also improved a lot to the point where he's easily one of my favorite current competitors. His first show of the year, the Detroit Pro, really gave us a taste of what he was capable of, and his close battle with Nick Walker at the New York Pro really proved his worth. With all the phenomenal progress that he's made within the areas like the back, the arms, and the quads, while retaining his conditioning and great lines, there's really no wonder that he was able to place an extremely impressive fourth at his Olympia debut. I think he is by far one of the most improved competitors, and he definitely deserves this title. Switching focus to the least improved bodybuilder of 2024, we have, in my opinion, Hassan Mustafa. You know, I would have thought that his career's best placing at the 2023 Olympia would have fired him up to do even better this year. However, I was definitely wrong. Although he did rather well in 2023 and really well in 2022, 2024 was really just not his year. He couldn't even place within the top 3 at the shows he should have easily won, purely based on his terrible condition. I really don't know how he managed to show up 6 weeks out of every show that he did this year. However, he really didn't bring great looks to the stage. Sure, he was massive and had his trademark size. However, sheer size alone is not going to compensate for that watery conditioning and an ever-widening gut. Moving on to the most underrated bodybuilder of 2024, we have Behrouz Tabani. I think a lot of people forget about this guy mainly due to his inability to get visas and compete at top shows. Although he's been qualified for the Olympia in the past, he's never really been given the chance to compete, which really does suck. Behrouz is a competitor who's always coming in shredded to the bone, could have easily placed within the top 10 at this year's Olympia or even higher, and has a really complete physique from head to toe. He definitely does have some weaknesses like his quad sweep from the front. However, he is one of the more complete guys who just can't make it to the Olympia. Super underrated competitor due to his gnarly conditioning, amazing back, and very impressive shape, and I hope to see him on the big stages in 2025. For the most overhyped bodybuilder of 2024, you have Andrew Jacked. Look, I along with many others agree that Andrew has all the genetic potential in the world. However, his older age leaves me sort of skeptical of any significant progress in the future. It is true that he lived up to the hype for the 2024 Texas Pro, as he came in full, peeled, and very massive, probably at his best ever. However, promises of an even better package and a potential domination at the Olympia were promised and not delivered. If anything, Andrew and his team probably were under so much pressure to bring an even better package than the Texas Pro that they kind of messed it up in pursuit of a bigger, fuller look. There's no doubt that he's a great bodybuilder. I mean, top 5 in the world is amazing, especially when you're not 100%. However, I think that fans and bodybuilding experts alike hyped him up way too much. An honorable mention for this title could also be Rubiel Mosquera, who undoubtedly received similar hype that was not delivered upon. However, he's not nearly as successful as Andrew when it comes to the Olympia level, nor had people considering him as the next Mr. Olympia champion. Speaking of Rubiel, I think that he definitely takes the first place award for the freakiest physique of 2024. Even though he wasn't at his best at one of the only shows that he's really ever competed at, being the Dubai Pro, he still outsized everyone and had some ridiculous attributes. For one, his quads are by far the biggest and possibly the freakiest of all time, and his almost inhuman proportions when it comes to like the neck, and really just his entire physique are something to be seen. There really isn't much else to be said for Rubiel, as he brings that freak factor and draws your eye even if he's not super conditioned or stage ready. That is basically all to say, since this category really focuses on the freakiness of one's physique and nothing else. Going into a personal favorite title to award, we have the biggest surprise, and that goes to William Bonac. While there are surely tons of other competitors who could take this title, I think that Bonac really does deserve this one. I'm sure a lot of you, including myself, thought that Bonac was completely done after the 2023 Arnold. He was a true shell of his former self and looked really underwhelming at that show. Honestly, after the 2022 Arnold Classic, which was arguably his last good look, he really was unable to put things together. That said, in 2024 he announced a comeback to the 2024 M-Pro Spain, where he was not really the favorite going into it. At best, people had him placing third behind Crizo and Beirut, apart from some maybe diehard Bonac fans. However, he defied the odds and obviously won that show. Best of all, he continued improving at every show after, and ultimately placed 7th at the Olympia. I am super happy for him, and even with all the wear and tear on his body, he still manages to smoke some of the younger competition, and therefore I think that he was the biggest surprise of 2024. The biggest disappointment is not a title that I necessarily want to reward to anyone, however I do need to give it to someone, and therefore it's going to go to none other than the mutant Nick Walker. He utterly disappointed me, and I'm sure the bodybuilding community as well, at the New York Pro and at the Olympia. As many of you know, Nick dropped out of the Olympia again this year, and being a fan of his, I was super disappointed. Look, I understand that if you get injured or something and physically can't prep, sit it out, I guess. However, whatever the reason was for Nick doing it, it wasn't because he was injured, and it definitely does not magically cover up a fan's displeasure. The New York Pro was also a bit underwhelming, not as underwhelming as the Olympia. However, he did go into that show saying he was going to clean sweep and win it easily. However, he ended up winning by a hair, with Martin Fitzwater challenging him pretty hard. An honorable mention for this title could also be Quinton Araya, who really underdelivered at the New York Pro as well, however turned things around for the better at the Toronto Pro. It is important to mention that both Nick and Quinton had the same coach at that time, which could help explain the double disappointment. Alright, the worst bodybuilder of 2024 is definitely not a title that anyone wants to receive, but that being said, I'm going to give it to Thiago Santisteban. This guy is someone who you probably have never heard of, however, he competed recently at the 2024 Prague Pro. Now, I know he's not a top-level Olympian, or Olympia-qualified athlete for that matter. However, his physique from an objective standpoint is unsightly, and one of the worst that I've ever seen in the current circuit, I guess. It's like he slapped on some clay on every possible body part, if you know what I mean. To be honest, there really aren't any quote-unquote bad pros at the highest level, which makes this category very hard to reward. Do let me know in the comments though, who do you have other than this guy as the worst pro for the 2024 season? Finally, we come to the best bodybuilder of 2024, which is of course Samson Dauda. I know this may seem like a very vanilla pick, however, who else is there really to choose? Chris Bumstead? I think that Samson could have easily fit within the most improved category, along with the biggest surprise as well, as he drastically brought up lagging body parts, and obviously won the Olympia. Samson undeniably has some of the best lines and shape for an over 300-pound bodybuilder, and although he doesn't have crazy condition, his sheer size, shape, and massive stature make up for it. He really stands out in any lineup, having no serious weak poses, and easily takes the title for the best bodybuilder of 2024. Anyways guys, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the 2024 Bodybuilding Awards, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.